Welcome back. We've now wrapped your self-growth sessions. It's time to shift gears into the next module, which is about all things lead gen. Now, after working with your clients, consider lead gen your top job responsibility. Now, this word, sometimes it makes people feel a little grossed out. It doesn't sound like the most appealing thing in the world. I want to challenge you to have a mindset shift. Again, from our earlier sessions, we're talking about not just being salesy, but being something different, being something in the world of service. When you think of lead gen, think about relationship generating, relationship strengthening. Think about being a beacon, a lighthouse for your community, for the people in your world. Think of the ways you can give them value, the ways you can help them. That is what lead gen is. It's being present in people's world and something of a positive light to them. Now, if you haven't done so already, you're going to need to create something called your sphere list. This is almost like your wedding list, a list of all the relationships you have, the people you want to stay in touch with, the people you value. And you're going to want to create a sphere list that's about 100 to 150 people in length. Now, that sounds like a lot. But boy, you want to be able to articulate all the different relationships you have, be it ones that are really strong, maybe ones that have gotten a little rusty, and everything in between. Every single one of these people is a person you can show value to, someone you can be a lighthouse for, someone who might one day need your help. So creating the sphere list is so crucial, and if you haven't done it already, there's some homework for you to get done pretty darn quick. Well, we're going to do an activity here called the Lead Gen Mind Stretch. This activity is going to help you articulate what your sphere is. It's also going to help you articulate all the ways you can communicate with your sphere, or reasons, I should say, that you can communicate with your sphere. Pretty much why you reach out to people in the first place. Think of 3 columns here, and we're going to focus on the first column, which is your sphere. We're going to take that big body of water and we're going to get more specific with it and create different, smaller bodies of water out of it. So what you're going to do is you're going to have 20 spaces in front of you. And we're going to ask the question, who is your sphere? Let's name 20 different groups, 20 different portions of people that make up your total sphere. I'm going to give you the first couple to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And now it's up to you to come up with the next 18. So to start in that first space, well, let's go with your family. After that, let's go with your neighbors. 2 different groupings, right? When we say sphere, do you have any particular faces that really pop into your head under that big, vague banner? Probably not so much. But when I say your family, there's probably some particular people that come to mind. When I say your neighbors, there's some particular individuals that come to your mind. That's the power of getting specific. Let's think of actual groups of people that we can wrap our head around. So I've given you the first 2. You've got 18 more spots. Pause this video, rack your brain. We call it mind stretch for a reason. Come up with 18 more subgroups that together make your sphere. I have a feeling this has probably been a little tricky for you. Maybe you've gotten a full 20, maybe you haven't. But here's some advice for you. Think of every grouping, every relationship group you've ever been a part of. Whether or not it's more pertinent in your life now, put it down. And here's something else you should consider doing. Maybe you wrote something on there like past coworkers. Maybe you wrote something on there like friends. Well, here's what we're doing with this exercise. We're trying to take the broad and vague and get more specific. So if you put something down like friends, is that specific enough? Can you take something you've written down and break it up even further? Maybe that one friends portion actually turns into old high school friends, college friends, current hometown friends. And now this one term, this one group of your sphere actually becomes multiple smaller sphere subgroups. Again, if you can get more specific with your groupings to be able to really channel a particular group of people, the better. This specific list is a great tool. We're almost creating puzzle pieces, Lego pieces for you to move around with as we're planning out your lead gen lifestyle. So that's your first column, the groupings of your sphere. Now, how can you communicate with your different groupings of your sphere? What are all the ways you can be reaching out to people? I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to have 7 spaces to write down the second column. And I'm going to give you the first couple again. You could call them on the phone. You could text them. What else? What are other ways we can communicate and interact with each other? Hopefully you came up with a pretty good list there, and the 7 are pretty concrete, right? There could be so much customization when you're breaking up your sphere groups, but really there's only so many ways we can communicate with people. I'm sure your list looks something like phone calls, text messages, emails, person to person, handwritten notes. In this day and age, we also have technology like getting face-to-face on computers. Is there anything else we've missed? Maybe you wrote something down like billboards. We're going to leave that off the list because that's a one-sided form of communication. You don't have dialogue there, and we want to have dialogue with our interactions. So we've articulated all the different ways we could communicate with the different groups of our sphere. Now let's look at this last column. Why in the world would you communicate with them in the first place? We're going to come up with 10 different reasons you'd be reaching out to someone. Now, the obvious one would be to ask for business, right? But that's not the only reason we're reaching out to people. If we're trying to be realtors who are service-oriented first, servant leaders, there's got to be more to the relationships we have than just asking for business. So what are the other reasons we reach out and communicate with people? Let me give you a couple. Maybe we reach out to offer help. Maybe we reach out to celebrate. I've given you 3. You got 7 more spaces. What are other reasons we would ever communicate with someone? That can be tricky. Articulating what's at the heart of conversations we have with people. If you came up with 10, here's the challenge again, here's the mind stretch. Can you come up with 3 more? 3 more reasons we engage and interact with people. Now, when this is all said and done, you're going to have an activity sheet that gives you a lot of examples of this. So rest assured, we're going to give you this. But I really hope you stop and challenge yourself to stretch, to realize all the different ways we can reach out to people, all the reasons. And now when we talk lead gen, oh my gosh, the possibilities are limitless. We've got these 3 columns here. Almost envision a slot machine. You pull the lever and you could come up with countless combinations. You could be talking about reaching out to your old school friends via text to check in and see how they're doing for the sheer purpose of catching up. You could reach out to your distant family via phone call and invite them to some event going on in your hometown. Maybe it's a reunion, right? You could pull that sucker again and say, hey, I'm going to reach out to my past coworkers via handwritten note and express my appreciation and gratitude for what they've taught me in my past careers. All 3 of those are just a couple of examples of all the different lead gen we could be doing to just stay in front of people and show value and appreciation for them and be a positive in their life. These Lego pieces, these countless combinations are going to serve us well as we move forward to plan out your lead gen lifestyle. So keep those in mind and don't ever sit down and say, I don't know what to do for lead gen. There are too many options. What we're going to do is help you come up with a plan, and there should never be an excuse, I don't know what to do.